working. Say it's being live streamed. Did you all get that?
Yes.
All right. Weather in Maui. Oh, I've been to Maui twice. It's fantastic. Oh, it's heaven. Whoever's there. Okay. It takes me 1 second. There we go. Say it's being live streamed. Okay, I'll get that. Great. All right, I'm going to share my screen really fast. I'll tell everybody about, whoops. Look. All right, I'll tell everybody about SAW. Let's work on, wait, that's not what I want. What do I want? Hang on. We're doing good. Now we'll share our screen. We'll share the whole screen. So welcome, everybody. It's the Sequential Artists Workshop here on a Friday night. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have Anna Sellheim here, and I'll tell you more about meeting her and her cool comics. But if you don't know where we are or who we are or where you are, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We have a bunch of classes and other things, learn.sawcomics.org. You can find us there. Things coming up include next week, Ellen O'Grady will be here on our Friday night workshop. URL for that will be in the chat pretty soon. In May, which is really soon, Beth Tremblay is doing a 4-week memoir intensive, and she's got a new book coming out in September, and she's a genius teacher. It's going to be great. And our 6-month graphic novel program is launching in June, but today's the last day to get in on the early bird pricing. I'll tell you more about that program in a second. No, I'll tell you now. What the heck? So in that, you get a lot of course materials. You get a really vibrant community. We will go through all the steps it takes. I'm trying to rush through this, but okay. And lots of community, lots of structure. The website is here. That's not it. It's there. It is the last chance to get 20% off. And there is a lot of information. This will be in the chat too about what you get and how we can help you get your book out the door, which is what it's about. Okay. We also have some ongoing groups of the Flow and Publish group, the memoir working group. Those are all at learn.sawcomics.org. Tonight and any night, share what you do on social media. Friday Night Comics is the tag we use. We are at Comics Workshop. I think Anna is at Anna Sellheim, and I hope she'll tell us more. We love to see, especially late on a Friday night and over the weekend, just to see what people have done by following that hashtag. It's been really awesome. You can also join us for free anytime at members.sawcomics.org. That's where we're sharing stuff all the time. That's the same URL. So please, no inappropriate speech or imagery. You'll be permanently banned. That only was an issue once ever so far. So we've got a pretty good track record. As Anna mentioned, this is a safe space for everybody. It's about community building and sharing our efforts and our lives and our art. So let's all be on the same page and enjoy each other's company. For those of you, last thing we'll say, those of you who have joined through Eventbrite, through the Eventbrite link, there seem to be some limitations to it, like you can't raise your Zoom hand later. So if you want to take a moment and open in Zoom instead, you'll have that option, but just call out over the chat and we'll take care of you. Otherwise, don't worry about that. Okay, I think I can stop sharing. And we will go on to Anna Sellheim, who I just met this week. And I was like, you are funny. You're a great cartoonist. You're a CCS grad who we all love. And let's do a workshop. So here you are. And I'm at this point, I will let you take it away, say anything you like. And by the way, I don't have Anna's book. I do. It's just like with Out of Reach that she did about a birdie or Toucan Birdie, and that's
I talk about it. So
good. Okay,
we'll get a little bit. Yeah.
So here's the deal, Anna. I'm gonna like blink out. I'm gonna mute myself and my video, but you can find me on the chat, and you can even holler and say, "Tom, where am I? I'm here."
I am not sure how to do the chat. Oh, it's like if I do it in full screen, that is very stupid. I don't like that at all. Okay. Let me get out of full screen. I don't know why.
I won't disappear until you're all set
Gotcha.
up.
You're good. You're good. I
All
got
right.
it.
Well,
Where
take
does
it away,
one
Anna.
more thing? Where does if you raise your hand, how do I know that? Right?
Well, here's what'll happen. We'll do the sharing. I'll highlight people as they raise their hand. They raise their hand through the reactions button. There's a little like raise hand that's down there by where you saw share screen. Oh my God, Rebecca just shared her hand already.
I got it. Okay, kind of.
Cool.
All right, cool.
All right.
Okay.
And what we'll do is around 20 of, quarter of, we'll start raising our hands and sharing and just looking at what people did. You ready?
Yeah, probably. So hi everybody. My name is Anna Sellheim. I am a cartoonist living in Baltimore. Let me share my screen. Give me a moment. Desktop. Share. Dude, are you serious? That's fun. Oh my goodness. Yeah, how do I do this? Click locked up. Okay.
I'm here to help.
I have to change my settings to allow Zoom to share my screen.
You
I
do?
Probably, yep, because yeah, let me see.
It's not such a bad thing to do.
It's totally fine.
Take the minute. You're cool.
Quit and reopen. Okay. Be right. Wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. Okay.
Oh, it's funny.
You
want to quit and reopen?
Say what?
You want to quit and reopen?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay, Anna is quitting and reopening, so we can talk amongst ourselves. We have Susan and Helen and all sorts of other people. Michelle is here. We can already start sharing. What has everybody been up to this past week? Does anyone have either Passover plans or Easter plans or any of those things happening?
Beth Tremblay inspired me to go snorkeling.
Really?
Was it Beth or somebody else?
No, Beth's a big snorkeler. She just got back from somewhere in the Caribbean where she did that.
Yeah.
And you're in the Bay Area. So did you just go snorkeling in the Bay Area with all the
We had a $200 round trip to Maui.
Wait, are you in Maui?
No, not anymore.
Wait, you went to Maui for $200?
Susan used her noggin to figure out how I had a hat on that I wasn't in Maui anymore.
You went to Maui for $200?
Yes.
Oh my God.
From the Bay Area, Tom.
I know the West Coast, but
they people
the
go there for the weekend.
Yeah, the tricky thing is that then you look at the hotel prices and they're like $1,000, and I got the last cheap one. So.
Stay on the beach.
Can you allow Anna Banana to share her screen? Because
you're a co-host. You should be able to do anything.
It says I'm a participant who is, and I am not able to share my screen.
There is another Anna Sellheim.
Oh no!
Right.
What it was I think when you came in, you weren't co-host again. So now you're co-host again. Try it now.
Okay, baby. I think we're doing it. Let's check it out. There we go. Hey, so I am super tech illiterate, and I apologize because I'm a little too young for that kind of thing, but doesn't matter. Okay, so this is super low tech, but let's do it. Hello and welcome to Comic Love Letter to TV or any other comic related media. I'm Anna Sellheim. Wow, can you? I'm Anna Sellheim. I'm a cartoonist based out of Baltimore. And I'm a graduate of CCS. 2016 is when I graduated. I do a lot of comics about mental health and physical disability, and I do a lot of memoir, but I also do comics about dreams and fiction pieces and all sorts of stuff. Tom mentioned that he met me last week, and he asked me to do a workshop. So you can just find, I'm going to be talking about a lot of my comics today, and you can read a bunch of them for free at annasellheim.com. I'm also on Instagram, Tumblr, Patreon, and TikTok at Anna Sellheim. And I have a podcast with my friend Teresa, which has an Instagram and a Tumblr that I'm not updating quickly enough, called Make Art Talk Shit, where we make art and talk about random stuff. So we are doing a comic about a love letter to TV or any other sort of media. The reason Tom asked me to do this workshop is because I created a comic called #Save Toucan Birdie back when it was canceled in 2017 or 2018. I cannot remember exactly. But Toucan Birdie was a TV show, an animated TV show about two 20-something-year-old bird women in a medium-sized city, living their lives. And it was created by a cartoonist named Lisa Hannawalt, who many of you might be familiar with either for her comics or Toucan Birdie, or she's also the character designer for BoJack Horseman. Toucan Birdie was her property, and it was like the first female-led animated show on Netflix. And I personally liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it dealt with sexual assault in a very interesting way. And specifically, it talked about how traumatic sexual incidents when you're a child can lead to being attracted to toxic behavior as an adult, that I found really fascinating. So it was pretty well received. People were writing about it like crazy. Netflix itself is very secretive about their actual ratings. They never bring out, they really don't talk about their numbers the way you can look up almost any other platform. But I liked Toucan Birdie quite a bit. And then I found out it got canceled one morning while I was scrolling the internet before work. And then I ended up, it pissed me off. And I didn't realize how much it pissed me off till I started talking to my mom on my commute. And then I just went off, and it turned out that I don't know, it being canceled felt very sexist to me. Whether or not that's valid, that's just how I felt. There are a lot of think pieces that agreed that that was probably the reasoning behind it. And so I just ended up going on an entire thing about all this pent up rage I had about what was going on with the Trump administration at the time. And it just kind of got way more of a reaction out of me than I assumed. And I ended up making a comic about all those feelings and that phone call. And the original comic, which I will show you a little bit of later, is what I actually called into work and said, I'll be late. And I spent an hour drawing it in my car. But the full comic of this, you can read on my website. Later, I added an addendum because I posted it online. I added an epilogue. And somebody, like the original comic, somebody thought it sounded really hopeless. So I talked about the fact that, you know, it being on the air was such a milestone and such an amazing thing. And apparently a lot of people really wanted to bring it back because Cartoon Network ended up picking a season 2. And I think they're doing a season 3 as well. But they got to, it obviously impacted a lot of people. And I've seen good things about the second season. I don't even know if I'll ever watch it. But really, it was just about how that narrative touched me. I just kind of, all this stuff came pouring out that I wasn't expecting. And that's something that I think a lot of media does for a lot of people. So we are going to be doing a love letter to non-comic related media. There's a couple of ground rules. One is a safe space policy. So Tom went over, you know, your boilerplate generic safe space policy, but we're going to be talking about various media franchises and so I don't want anyone dragging anyone else's taste in books or TV or radio or whatever. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. How do I? No, I have no idea how to do that. Get out of that? No idea. Oh, stop share. Hey. So really quickly, I just want to, actually don't know if I'm on camera. Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay.
We can see you.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
So what I will say is that we all like different stuff. And if you want me to be super academic and heavy, I could write about this book I'm reading about right now about the history of virginity called Virgin. And it's someone's doctorate paper about how the concept of virginity was constructed specifically for patriarchal reasons and about tracking lineages and stuff. So I could go and do a whole heady thing about that. But also my favorite TV show is Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And I went to Carl's Jr. and I ate a nasty burger to get meat wad. And you can be in the trash with me and love Aqua Teen Hunger Force and like academic papers, and it doesn't matter. So I just don't want any judgment about anyone's media property choices. Going back to share screen. Okay. So, oh dear, how did I? Okay. The comic is going to be 2 to 6 panels. And I'm going to go through some examples of this momentarily. One of the panels has to be of the property itself. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can do it with, you can have a character if it is a DVD or a concert or whatever or like if it's a DVD or a book, you can have the physical object as one of the panels. But the property itself has to be in one of the panels of the comic. And then this comic is more, it's a love letter. I'm actually fine with you not necessarily being like, I love this property. It could just be a property that impacted you in some way. I'm going to show you a couple examples of that. But, you know, you're asking, it's more about how it affected you than about the property itself. So I don't need a synopsis of a TV show as much as this particular episode spoke to me, or this happened when this episode of a TV show was on, or we did this thing at this concert kind of deal. But I'm more interested in your story than the actual franchise, right? And then I want you to play with format. I was going to clap in between, but I'm a little too anxious to do that. So play with format and play with layout. So I'm about to show you a bunch of comics that deal with layouts in interesting ways when it comes to portraying media. So this is the original Toucan Birdie comic. I parked my car, called work, said I'd be late, and then furiously drew for an hour and just banged this out. And I think it's like 8 or 9 pages long. I can't remember. But something was really free. I knew I didn't have time to make a grid, and I'm a hardcore grid girl. So especially before this comic. And so but for the immediacy of it, and because I was so, in my feelings, I just kind of opened it up and just drew as fast as humanly possible. And this is just straight to ink. But so here's a bunch of stuff for my thesis at CCS. And you can see that I mess with style when I'm experimenting. I did a bunch of mini zines. Tom got some of them, not all of them. I did a lot of individual zines for my thesis versus a longer project. And you see that I experimented with style a lot, but I didn't mess with layout almost at all. And even after college, as a gallery show I was in, I'm still hardcore doing gridded work. And then after, that's another gallery slide, but after I did this comic and then redrew it for the zine, I really started to think about format more. And I think it made my work a lot stronger. It certainly, I think it made me more experimental. So these are all comic layouts I ended up doing after. And it's just literally from taking the paneling away. So I want you to play with just do something you haven't done with layout before. It doesn't have to be super ambitious. It can be as simple as, you usually draw a horizontal strip, try drawing a vertical strip. You usually draw a 4-panel square, try taking away the grid lines. I'm going to show you some more ambitious examples of playing with format. This is the Maxine by Miriam Henley, who is like one of the best comics of all time. And this woman doesn't make comics anymore, and it's heartbreaking. But this isn't particularly about a piece of media, but it's about, oh, hey, that's better. But it plays with the format of the layout of an actual comic strip. This also wouldn't be 100% applicable. This is Barbara Braden. And she is also like an amazing cartoonist they're both from the 90s. And Barbara Braden, this wouldn't work for this just because there's no media as a panel, but she always does these talking heads. She never does full bodies. They're all the comics are like this. And I just think it's such an interesting way to do things. So just breaking out of your shell a little bit. This is, give me one moment. This is from As You Were. It's not super readable based on the photo. I have to look up the artist's name. Give me one moment. Sorry about that. It is Amy Pijpers. And this is from issue 3. But
Hang on.
okay.
There we go. We had to mute somebody.
Okay, that's totally fine. But this is, so she goes to a couple of concerts that for punk shows that she loves that have lyrics that really speak to her. And you can see how it's about like, you got to figure out your life. She's getting progressively sadder. And then she goes to another show that's just make the best out of your life, ends up breaking up with her boyfriend, and then going into comics. Even something as simple as this is that's something I never would have thought about doing. So if you're willing to break a barrier like that, that may be something you can do with layout. And then, so Vanessa Davis is one of my favorite artists. And this is, I think, like such a brilliant, this is one of the best comics in making me a woman, in my opinion, even though it's so simple, where it's about like a guy that she has a crush on running his fingers through her hair while they're at a show. And like, she says who she's seeing, the Unicorn's a good band, but it's really about even the intimacy, like everyone knows kind of how intimate that is. And like, it just, the way it's so simply drawn, just, you can tell it was a really important moment to her. And then finally, I'm going to go through 3 books of Leslie Stein's. So this is about her friend that ends up looking at a photo of the singer from Pink Floyd while she's high and gets all freaked out. And so for this comic, it can just be anything that impacted you. It doesn't have to be like, this is the most revolutionary thing to ever happen to me. It can literally just be a funny gag strip about something that happened to you with a piece of media. I'm just going to ask that you don't do it in a way where it rags on something, just because someone in this, like 60 odd people might like whatever you're making fun of. But that being said, so this is volume 1. So you have that. Volume 2, she ends up going to see it. Spoiler alert. She ends up going to see a movie. And then while she's actually having the experience of losing herself in the movie, you have the black writing, but you also have the lack of border. So it feels kind of more like it's a different experience versus her getting to the theater. And then while she's watching her guitar getting drunk at home, it's like a whole thing. I don't know. So, and then in the 3rd volume, she ended up totally flipping styles. And this is a particular one about her wanting to play guitar like Jimi Hendrix. And she actually changed styles, it says at the beginning of the book, because her first couple of comics are about her after New Year's just trying to immediately do something super different than what she usually does, which is why she completely turned face between versus like, again, volume 1, volume 2 is more polished, volume 1, and then a completely different thing for volume 3. And I think just having something to just kind of vomit out your feelings about a piece of media, there's kind of just feel the just getting out of your comfort zone, I think is something I want you to do with this exercise, at least in terms of the art and layout, if you can. Let's get out of sharing. So I'm going to probably time us for like, I'm going to make an like 3 minutes just so you can find some good reference photos for that one image that you have to put in your comic, of whatever media you decide. And then after that, I would say, you know, probably give you the rest of the 10 minutes to thumbnail and then go from there to drawing. Does that sound good to everybody?
With thumbnails. Okay. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you don't have to do thumbnails. I don't know. Like, that's kind of, yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
We're pretty spontaneous a lot of times on these Fridays.
Okay, well, that's also, yeah, you can also just go into drawing for the rest of the however long we're doing this. I don't know.
So we're going to take 2 to 3 minutes to find a resource on the internet for our own, for the show, yes, or whatever we want to look at. And then, okay.
Yeah. So, and I will give a, yeah. And I don't know how many of you are drawing digitally. It certainly doesn't look like it based on the cameras I'm seeing, but there's 60 odd people in here. So I'm sure some of you are. But just try not to superimpose an image and then trace it as the one, like, as the one panel and have, well, I guess, I don't know. I just saw someone recently that had kind of a mediocre style, and then they took a sword from, while they were doing fan art of an anime character, and they took a sword and placed it in her hand and then traced over it. And it just looked like so out of place. So I think you can do it if you're smart about it, just something to keep in mind versus like, but then, you know, that's the only thing I would, that I would consider warning against, but I'm also going to do this.
So what are you going to do, Anna?
So I'm not sure. I kind of have an idea. Right now, I'm trying to figure out, let me, should probably.
And I'll blink out again, but I'd love to hear what people are doing in the chat if you're deciding on a project or a show or a property, or whatever.
Bill Nye, that's very good. Twilight Zone, Star Trek. Pan's Labyrinth is good. Let me look up like. I need a poster. Sure. We can do that. Oh yeah, Green Acres. That'd be so, wow. I would love to see a comic about Green Acres. I literally only know about Green Acres because my first like celebrity crush was Dave Foley. And then on news radio, he'd watch Green Acres all the time, but I've never actually seen the show. Yes, it is okay to do a favorite act at a blues festival. That is totally fine. Yeah, if you've seen a concert, that's also totally like, that's a piece of media. You seeing a live performance is fine. It just can't be a comic. I don't want it to be a comic. I know that I have a problem where I just get in a comics hole and then literally just read comics all day and then just listen to podcasts in the 2 minutes I'm not reading comics. So, but other than that, I'm chill with pretty much anything. Should get this set up. All right. So I'm going to stop the video on this, start the video on my other account. What are you? Yeah, that's fine. Got it. Got it. Okay. Ooh, baby, we got to flip that over. Oh, no, we don't. I'm a fool. There we go. And then where is, bam. Just gotta be able to. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Okay. So I think that's enough time. Did everyone find their reference photos? Like everyone got a handle on it, you think? Or do you need a little more time? Okay. Okay, it looks like people are good. So I don't know, Tom, maybe it is better to be spontaneous. I don't know what is better for the workshop. You don't, I guess if you're more, I mean, I didn't thumbnail the BoJack comic, so maybe we'll just go for it. If that's okay with everybody. Like, I don't know what you prefer. Totally up to you. Where, I need a pencil sharpener though. Bam. Ready? Okay. I'm personally going to do a little thumbnailing. Where did I put? Whatever, I can just thumbnail on this. Oh, wait, you cannot. There you go. a line from the movie. So I'm going to be talking about Sonic 2, actually. And my crush on Knuckles the Echidna when I was a child. Where is...
Seems like Sonic was a big part of a lot of people's childhood of a certain age.
Yeah, he's still a big deal, I think, in a more memeable way, because like literally I was hanging out with a bunch of Micah students today, and they had a yard sale, and their advertisement was a Sonic the Hedgehog art that said the location and time of the sale. And I ended up getting a couple screen prints from the artist that made the poster, because she used it as for an excuse to do an assignment about 4 color screen prints, and like they're gorgeous. But I think that, yeah, I think it's definitely a thing for me. But I'm 34, but these 19-year-olds are loving it. I think in a more ironic way, but Sonic 2 quote. I need a better way to say that. Also, let's look up. Oh, wow, he won twice. I'm looking up Idris Elba being the sexiest man alive, according to People. He won more than, he took over as winning more times than John Legend, who's also incredibly sexy. So I think that's a good call. Can I get an image, please? That's a good one. And then all right, well, I'm done thumbnailing. Tom, do you think we should just, I don't know if like thumbnailing is, I should keep more time for it, or if y'all are just going to town?
I don't know, maybe give everybody 3 or 5 more minutes, or
I can do that for sure.
And
I'm
then-
gonna set up my.
and then we'll start sharing.
Oh, sharing the thumbnails. Oh, right.
Well, sharing whatever.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we're done already?
Well, it's getting late, but we can, if Anna can go long, we can go long.
Oh yeah, definitely. I must have totally miscalculated this. Yeah, I definitely am down with going longer. I feel like people didn't get enough time. I'm gonna set up my, double holiday, all that jazz. paper.
Yeah, I'm only on panel 2. I'm doing a lot of research. I'm getting caught.
Oh no!
Getting
So,
caught,
like,
getting
yeah.
caught in the TV hole.
So
Looking upstairs.
I don't know if you guys have read Steal Like an Artist by, what is it, Austin Kleon?
Austin Kleon, sure.
He's brilliant.
I worry about that advice book because I think it sets a dangerous thing for not everybody, but a certain kind of person, where it's like, find the people that inspire you. And I feel like there's a certain kind of person where if they research, they feel like they're actually accomplishing making art, and then they overbuild. I think Jessica Abel talks about it, right? In her, like, having like the book of lore about like her, where you're just over researching for a epic fantasy comic you're never going to make.
Yeah, forever and ever, just
Yeah.
researching and cataloging all the ins and outs of it.
Probably should have done this on a bigger piece of paper. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Why not? Why not do it in 11 by 17, baby? Okay. Wow, do I have enough room? I do. I can make this work. Squeeze back the computer a bit. Okay, poster. Oh, right. That is how I draw Brittany. So I occasionally use an avatar style because it's quicker to draw. And also, I think that drawing myself realistically is literally the most boring thing to draw ever. Let's see if you can. Oops. That's a better expression. Sorry guys, I'm not used to drawing live. So the view, I think I keep missing out on the camera. I don't know. No, he doesn't look angry. Oh, that's a better ending. Okay.
And it looks like you're on your last panel.
I am on my last panel. Yes.
Can I ask some of the people to start raising their hands and we can share in a minute?
Yeah, totally. That
Okay.
works for me.
And I'm going to ask you to also raise your hand because that pushes you up to the head of the queue, and that way we don't lose you when people are.
So it's not a reaction.
It is.
Or it is a reaction. My bad.
Crazy. Oh, and I'm going to do it too.
Raise hand. Hey, buddy.
Brilliant. Okay. And we'll let you finish up since you're drawing on camera, and then when you're ready, we'll.
I am actually done. This is kind of I am not good at, how do we do this?
You know what you can do is you can put your computer.
Oh, that makes so much more sense than what I was doing.
Yeah, just show now you can you can show it up to your computer.
Okay, give me a moment. Later. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Take my camera. Oh, it doesn't matter if I take my camera off. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back to.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw Sonic 2. And geez Louise, I've like never presented online before. So it was a interesting experience because so my friend Brittany, who I saw it with, who was obsessed with the video game. I was in the game I liked is canned as one of the worst Sonic games of all time. It came out for the GameCube, and the reason it's canned as the worst video game is because none of the characters are doing the cool stuff that they are supposed to do. Also, Shadow, if I get super nitty gritty, was introduced, but whatever. So Brittany says, I can't wait for this movie. And then I say, I used to have such a crush on Knuckles when I was a kid. And she laughs at me and says, really? And I say, I used to have weird crushes as a kid. And then cut to, oh, I should have added a little, like, whatever the directors use to start a scene. But anyway, if I had notes for myself. And then it's Idris Elba saying, I am an Echidna warrior. And I say, oh my God. And I asked Brittany, is that Idris Elba? And she says, yeah, cool, right? And then I remember how sexy Idris Elba is, and cut to the end of the movie where she's asking me how it was. And I had really complicated, weird feelings about possibly being attracted to Knuckles because it was voiced by one of the sexiest human beings on the planet. And I have history. And that is my gag comic for this. So, okay.
Idris Elba was in the Sonic 2 movie?
He's Knuckles, and Knuckles is, hold on. I also wanted to show this.
That's bizarre.
I brought something because I was planning, I had a little ahead time. So this is fan art I did, and I wrote a song in 8th grade for Knuckles. So that's some fan art I did of Knuckles, like in middle school when I was really in love with him and had a whole OC and like girlfriend, and it's a whole deal. So now just really exposing myself to the world, which I tend to do anyway, but that's where I'm at. So
you ready to see a couple of what people have come up with?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how this will work is I'll just spotlight them and you'll see it pop up and we're good. So we're going to go to Jeannie, then Fedora, then Vernon, and then we'll see who else is ready. Jeannie, and there you go.
Okay. All right. So didn't finish. Okay. Didn't finish doing the title, but there's Dark Shadows. There's Barnabas, for anybody who knows the original Dark Shadows, which I didn't realize there was a movie. So that's how old I am.
Can I ask what Dark Shadows is?
What's that?
Is Dark Shadows a TV show?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, cool. I don't.
Oh yeah, late 60s, 70s. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't want to trash anybody's. Well, anyway, it was very interesting acting. Very interesting acting. Anyway, and it was a soap opera. It was such a soap opera. I love it. Anyway, this is me yelling for my sister, saying, "Hurry up! It's starting!" And there's my sister and I watching Dark Shadows, and somebody's at the door.
I think the layout is so brilliant, and I love the style change between like the detailed. I just think that's very smartly done.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, that drawing is great. So we're going to skip Fedora for the moment and go to Vernon. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, Anna, thanks for the teaching today. I wanted to jump in here because I spent way too much time trying to figure out what I was going to draw about, and I only did one panel. And the backstory is I have a friend who recently came out as asexual. We're very close. And our running joke is, what if Sex in the City was about her?
Oh my God, that's
so I drew one panel that says, no sex, different city. And that's her as a bug saying, I'm just here for the snacks.
I love this.
And I folded this as a little zine, so hopefully I can still add more to this, but this is all I got so
Please
far.
give me a copy when it's done.
Will do.
As somebody that is on the A spectrum and likes Sex in the City, except for the ending, but it weirdly comes up obsessive. I just constantly talk about Sex in the City now, and I don't know why. Anyway, I cannot wait for that to be finished.
No sex, different city, just snacks.
Love it.
All right, we'll go to Fedora. You just tell us in the chat when you're ready, and then we'll go to Kate Young. Kate, yeah. But
Sorry, I'm not quite
oh, okay. We'll go to Helen.
ready.
Helen's ready.
All right. Okay. I don't know if you can see this.
Yep.
So, so the Chesapeake Bay Blues Festival, and most years or many years, Shamika Copeland has been the singer, and she is, you know, to die for. So, and then our friend runs it. So we work at the beer stand, and people pass out right in front of us, and we're always wondering, should we cut them off? And then my daughter came one year, and she was like, people in your era dance funny. And so that's all I got.
I love the fluidity of your line work. That is like, especially the rock out at the top. That's fantastic.
Oh,
That's fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll head over to Chris
Thanks.
and then Susan.
So mine is about Star Trek, and I discovered it when I was just a little kid watching TV on the big, huge TV. And it taught me that there's a solution to everything that involves peace, harmony, beauty, or logic. And I sort of secretly feel like I'm a member of Starfleet sometimes.
So which era of Star Trek is it? Is it Next Gen?
No, this is the original.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because early 70s is when I started watching it.
I love original Star Trek. The handful of episodes I've seen, it's so wild.
Yeah, each one was like a little morality play. So, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
We'll go to Kate. You just went on screen. Are you ready? Am I pronouncing that right? Oh, and you're muted, but other than that,
Okay.
there we go.
The thing that your story made me think of was the series Made, which was just recent, and it's about I don't know if you've seen it or heard of it or not, but it's a young woman with a child who's in a domestic violence situation, and I just could not stop thinking about it, and so it just really took me on a journey. Brought up like other stories from my own life and stuff, and so there's one scene in it where she's like going through the woods with her daughter, and they're singing this song, gonna bear hunt, gonna catch a big one. And I just really was taken by this scene, and it was in a moment where she was really struggling and having this beautiful moment with her kid in the woods. And then, so yeah, I was just writing about like what it did to me, and then how I couldn't stop thinking about it at night. And then my partner and I were having questions about it. And I would just like write things that she said, if only she'd done this wouldn't have happened, and whatever, you know, and just, yeah, I just found myself thinking about it all day. I had a couple of other ideas for panels, and I'm not finished with it, but it was great exercise. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really interesting how like certain scenes of something, this is literally like my obsession with Sex and the City only like decades later, like where there's a scene of something that impacts you, and I think to other people it may not be super like important or moving, but it's something you constantly go back to, you know. And I think that's a great topic for a comic.
Thanks.
Cool. We'll go to Susan next and then Michelle. Let's see. There we go. Susan.
Okay. I'm muting myself. So I too was on Team Dark Shadows, and the opening scene was of this big castle and sort of this moor, and it was started with this woman named Victoria who visited this mansion and found all these things, and she was always out on the moors. And let's see if I can just make this. And so the thing was, every day in the summer in grade school, I would ride my bicycle to the lake. It was a mile away. And then I'd watch. And at 2 o'clock, I'd bicycle back home and get my container of frozen vanilla pudding, because that was really cool in the summer. And I'd sit on the floor and I'd watch Dark Shadows. And it lasted a half an hour. And then I would get back on my bicycle and go back to the lake and jump in the pool or jump in the water.
I love this. I love specifically the way, the importance of both the lake scene, how it's so much bigger at the end, and the Dark Shadows intro in the beginning. So it's like, you've got like this really cool stacked effect where this is really important, and then your experience is kind of a journal, and then you flip back over within the panel to make it big again, to be like, this is also an important part of the summer. So I think that's like brilliant. I think that's great.
Oh, well, thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was meaningful to just get away and participate in this completely bad acting, unbelievable werewolves and vampires and all that good stuff.
Well, is the Dark Shadows the Mr. No, I immediately rescind my question, because that's the answer is no. Okay.
All right, we'll go to Michelle, who is not in Maui, maybe is still in Berkeley. I don't know, but
I'm wearing a dress celebratorily. Okay, mine, as I said in the chat, was the Twilight Zone. So I tried to draw Rod Serling. I can remember what he looks like, and I was even looking at pictures of him, and I can't do it. But I started with the old intro and then the new intro.
The way you incorporate it is great.
And then I talked about how for the kid of an immigrant, where there was a lot of crazy in the house, like my mom had mental illness, like having this context of even broader stretches of reality was really helpful to like imagine even nuttier things that could happen. I'll stop there.
Well, you know, the layout and like, because like it feels like you poured your like just the writing kind of poured out of you, and it reminds me of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Julie Doucette, but, and I also may be pronouncing that wrong, but she's like a Riot Girl cartoonist from the 90s, and she had a project after years of not doing comics called 365, where she did a diary every single day for a year. And it has kind of this both super emphatic and compelling, but also chaotic layout. And I love how you incorporated the intro. I think it's just fabulous.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Michelle. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it. Chris has it. Chris Siddell.
What does Chris have?
He has 365. He's holding it up.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool. Yeah. That's great. Relettered in English by Rich Tommaso. Crazy job.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Fedora, are you ready for us? Do you want us to come on over? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
On paper. So do you want me to read it backwards? I don't know if I can.
Or just tell us about it.
Well, okay. So that first frame, in the car solo, you dissolve in tears of joy. It grabbed you from the opening credits over the dunes of the empty court of the Rabba Khali. oh gosh, sorry. Yeah, a character clanked and clinked toward you. How could you possibly feel, and there's the title of the movie on the screen, sort of. What is missing from your now, your New York City solid days is what you left back there in the Middle East of your mind. Yeah.
So let me ask, first of all, I think the first panel is so expressive. So is that you're in the theater? Is that the way back? Like, when are you experiencing these tears of joy?
No, in the car. In the car. Yeah,
Okay.
afterwards, right. I mean, it was an incredible emotional experience, really.
Mhm.
And then this is the scene, actually, these two panels from the movie. I don't know if anybody has seen it, but it's a pretty amazing character. It's a medicine man coming out of nowhere in these dunes in Arabia, and carrying all his medicines in sewn inside his coat. It's just like, and it's, it's a big love story. That's part of, I guess, what I left out, but that's the, so obviously I'm not finished with the last two panels, but that was the English Patient. It's quite a movie, actually. I think it's quite a story.
Yeah, I love that first panel. It's just like, tears are really hard to do, like, draw effectively. The Simpsons talks about how animating tears, they always look like totally nuts. But I think that even though they're exaggerated, I feel like the emotion of it is just like coming off the page. I really love that first panel.
Thanks. Yeah, and I conflated it with another time with rain on the windshield, which gives a kind of, I mean, it's a cliche in a way, but that cool visual effect.
Mhm.
Cool, thanks, Fedora. And we had a question in the chat about whether or not that was watercolor or charcoal. So maybe if you could answer, Kelly, in the chat, that would be awesome.
Oh, in the chat. Okay.
Yeah. And we're going to go to Alex and ND, and then we'll call it a night and thank Anna. So Alex, you are on. There we go.
Hi, I am totally new. And I'm new to comics. I'm taking an awesome comics readers advisory class in library school, and it got me thinking that I wanted to expand my art this way. So my comic is called, tentatively, Fred Rogers is My Real Dad. And the first set of panels, I tried to do what you said. I did these on index cards, but I tried to do what you said, Anna, and like play with the layout a little bit. So what I'm doing is, like, my kids up front watching the same television show, and I'm kind of doing chores and fooling line and coming back. And then I say, what is, I don't know, you guys see it backwards or what, but what is that show you're watching? And she says, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And the next panel is him sitting there in his, taking his shoes off or whatever in his little place. And he's saying, I like you just the way you are. And I'm standing there watching. And then the next panel is sort of me sitting down with my kid watching it and like hearing those words, like, I like you just the way you are, coming in. And the last panel is me going, Dad, and crying. And I finished it a bunch of ways, and I ended up just getting rid of the other ones, but I just didn't know how to end it. So,
well, was he like kind of a surrogate father in a way? Because that's what I'm taking from it.
Yeah, like, I didn't have really like very present parents, and so to hear him like be so accepting and be like, I love you just the way you are, like, was extremely moving for me. So
Yeah, I think like that's kind of the power of Mr. Rogers. I think that's why he's so beloved, especially to kids like you that may not have had like, just problems with their home life, is that it's like you just had this warm presence that you could go to every day.
Well, yeah, no, actually, this is the part that I should have explained better in the comic, which is that I'd never seen it before. I grew up in a different country. And so like, it was me as an adult.
Gotcha.
Like being she's watching reruns on the TV and I'm being stricken by like, oh my God, who is this man? And after that, I watched all the episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is very cool.
Yeah, I just kind of scrawled on all of them. So I don't know.
No, but I think I give you kudos for definitely. So the way I was playing with format is I was trying to make each panel slightly bigger and then at the like kind of a tier. But I think that you doing it on different kinds of different sheets of paper, like that's how storyboard artists and animators often create comics and that kind of thing, is that they're doing it and then rearranging and stuff. So I definitely give you kudos because that's very ambitious.
Thanks.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks so much. Hope you come back next week. We're gonna go to ND. This will be our last one, and then there's an after party if you want to be there. It's in the chat, and some other things in the chat. Go check it out. All right.
Hey, so didn't get very far. Basically, there's this guy Seth. He works at Berm Peak. I'm not quite sure what it is. I haven't looked it up yet. He's fixing bikes, and so it's. I've been watching videos because I've been doing a lot of antique or vintage, not antique, but vintage bike repairs, and he's so full of shit. He does everything that you shouldn't do if you're trying to sell a bike. He like spray paints over problems. He puts different stickers on. So I was going to draw a bunch of that, but it was really fast paced because I think it was like 7:30 or so when, at least my time, when you said that, okay, start drawing. It's like, or start researching. And so I didn't get very far with this, but I like the idea, and I'll probably finish this one out. The reason I actually like him though, because he said to write a love letter to this thing. There's two reasons. One is that he finishes his projects. He goes from beginning to end, and then it's a YouTube video thing, so it's like 15 minutes, and he shows you the whole process, including pricing. But it also reminds me of my in-laws who do cleanouts, and it's not they can glorify an item maybe. They're very honest, but it's like there's times when people just like want to be told a good story, and so it kind of reminds me of that too. So thanks.
I love it. I saw in high school, so I went to a public high school, but it was in walking distance of Georgetown Prep, which you guys might know from the Kavanaugh hearings, because he went to Georgetown Prep. But yeah, but he oh God, like we never interacted with those students, but I definitely got a vibe. But anyway, there was parked in the block where my school was a car from like the 1930s that was like perfectly it just was in perfect condition, but then it had a bumper sticker on the back. And I just thought it was I was taken aback every time I saw it, because I was like, I just thought it was the most wild choice to have this like beautiful, like perfect vintage car, and then just like stick content, because it was some kind of pop culture thing. Like it was just, I just found that fascinating that someone would do that.
Awesome. Well,
yeah, it's strange that people would put stickers on something that it's incongruous to the the nostalgia of it, I guess. But yeah, this guy actually changes like the sticker on the shock absorber from one brand to another.
Oh my God.
It's like, yeah, it's a mess. This guy's a mess.
Well, thanks, Anna. This was really fun. And I think, we get really personal with a lot of these, and it's interesting that this was one great approach. It's like, what TV or movie or whatever moved you? And it's really interesting to have heard some of these stories, and we haven't really done that before. We've done like food and other kinds of memories and places, but never like something as sort of forbidden in some ways. You're not supposed to like TV and stuff that much. You're not supposed to make a comic about a YouTube channel, right? I like that.
Right.
You did that, so it's great. I'm so glad you did this. And
well, thank you. I just feel like something unique about doing media is that it's both communal because other people are familiar with the property, but it's you all have done a great job of making it also super personal, because that's why people love stories, is because it speaks to you, but then you can also have a communal experience because it also speaks to other people,
Yeah, it's great. You really helped remind us of it. So I'm hoping Anna will come back in maybe a couple months and do something about pets too. And you can look on her website about some of her pet comics too.
I just want to show you really quickly. My Jack Russell apricot it's 7:30, so or it's late. So apricot is old and it's time to retire. But she is usually a little chaos bomb. So definitely want to do a comic about her.
All right, I'm going to remove the spotlight, go to gallery view, and everybody, if you could unmute and just thank Anna for being here and showing that. And
thank you.
Check out the chat.
Thank you,
Anna, thank you so much.
Toucan Birdie forever.
Thank you, Anna.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
And
it's great.
Yeah, thanks so much, Anna. Let's keep in touch. We'll talk next time. And go to sawcomics.org for all your comic needs. And have a great holiday if that's what you are into.
Oh,
Thanks,
everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
I'm being there.